Hello, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful card with this frame made of stamped images. And what you're going to learn today is how to cut on ScanNCut these stamped images, and actually each one of them is cut twice because I wanted to add some dimension, and you can see that it has some dimension. See, they're a little bit taller than the U. And I'm going to teach you how to do that on ScanNCut to make sure that they're perfectly cut. And then I'll show you how to assemble the card, and just use this technique for whichever floral stamped images that you have. I'm sure you have a lot. And inside I just have some deserve to be celebrated. So I hope you learn some more techniques today, and let's get to that. So let me just show you. I just want to give you a few tips. I have a whole sheet of paper stamped, but you can see that some of these images are not very well stamped, and I need to fix that. And sometimes you go, oh no, I'm going to lose that. No, don't. Just use whatever markers. I have different sizes of markers, different thickness of markers, and I just look at this one and I go, well, this one I can totally use this marker that I have because that's the thinnest one, and I can see that the line is really thin. So just go around fixing all the mistakes that you made in terms. See, this one is much thicker, so I'm going to probably use this one. This one should work fine. Yep, see? So fix the mistakes you have, and especially the outlining, because as you know, ScanNCut will cut outlines that are continuous. So if you have any gaps, it's not going to cut, or it's going to just skip it. So just go around. I just wanted to show you how to fix this problem. Make sure that you do the outlining. And then I'm just going to take this to the machine and cut the whole thing. So see here, I had to actually finish the outline. Just make sure that you look around, and if there are any gaps, you have to fill the gaps, because otherwise it will not cut correctly. So here we are, and I already have my paper loaded with all those images, and you do that by just clicking this button here. And what we're going to do, and this is something that I really want to explain to you, it took me forever to understand why we had these two different types of cutting, direct cut and ScanNCut, but I'm going to tell you why they are so different. So if we wanted to just scan and then cut directly on the paper, that's the option you use. But in our case, we're going to actually ScanNCut data. Why is that? Because remember that they have to have some dimension, and you can do that in so many different ways. You can either use foam tape, that works fine, but these are such tiny images that I just don't want to go through that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it again, at least twice more, these images that we're going to save, so I have them on paper, and that's what's going to give me dimension. I'm going to, when I assemble the card, I'll show you what I mean by that. But the only way you can do that is if you save this image that we're going to scan in the machine, because you can just replace the paper and cut it over and over again. So that's the option you want to use. So we're going to cut to data. We're going to leave it at 12 by 12 because it's a big piece of paper, and you click on start. I believe it's going to do a good job because I fixed all the outlining problems that I had. So it is recognizing. It's going to take a while because there's so many images there. So once it's finished scanning, the machine asks you, how do you want to cut this? Do you want just the outline? Do you want the outline and inside too? And that's great. And of course, what we want is just the outside. So it processes again, and it shows, okay, that's what it looks really good, but you don't want all this dirt. This is actually the mat that's so dirty, so you just move these buttons here to say, nah, forget about that part, that area, you should just ignore, and that's the only thing I really need to be cut. So we click on preview, and it actually looks good. to me. See, it really looks nice. It looks like it caught all the images, but that's because I fixed all the outlining problems before, and that's very important. So we're just gonna say, okay, that's fine. And here is the difference. We are now able to save this file, and that's what I'm going to do. Please save it in the machine, that's in ScanNCut, because later on I'm going to use some more paper, and it tells you that's the number 19, and I'm going to just keep putting paper there and cutting it over and over again so I can add it to add some dimension to these flowers and all these leaves here. Looks good to me, so I'm just going to say yes. Please go ahead and cut. Oh, sorry about that. So it's saved, right? I always make this mistake, but it's good because now I have another one with the same stuff, but that's okay. Once that's done, so the machine asks you, do you want to delete all patterns? You're gonna say okay, because it's already in your ScanNCut. But here's the thing, do not move your mat, okay? Because it has scanned, and if you move the paper now, it's not going to cut perfectly, of course. So you're going to retrieve that one that we know that it's the last one, so I'll just go there, number 20 or 19, because I did it twice, I think. So that looks good to me. You're gonna say okay. So here, what I'm going to do is I want to get some of these images deleted, actually this one and this one, because they didn't look good, and I actually just wrote over them. So here's how you do this. You're going to click edit, and you're going to move, see these little tiny things that it's showing here, the red. Let me just show you closer so you can see. I have all these little tiny images here that I really don't want to cut at all. So here, see this little tiny one. So what you do is you're just gonna delete all the things that you don't want. This image, the whole thing, I actually don't want. So you just keep going. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing to you because it's gonna take forever, but I'm going to, no, this one is fine. You just, let's just click OK, and let's just see the ones that you want to delete. So that little tiny one, yes, I don't want that cut. I don't want that cut either. So you just keep going, and wherever the cursor is showing the red dots, no, this one is fine. I want that. I want that. Oops, I got another one here. Sorry, so that one I want to delete, yeah. So no, these are fine. That's another one. So I'm just gonna clean, and you just keep on doing this until you delete everything you don't want, so you don't waste any time. As you can see now, it's much cleaner. I got rid of all the small things here that I didn't want. I actually had two big pictures here, images that I didn't want. So now it looks fine to me. You just go okay, okay, select, and tell the machine, please cut everything here. That's fine, and I'm not going to, of course, make you wait for all this, but let's just see a little bit. It's gonna take 5 minutes because a lot of images, and I'll be back soon. So the paper was cut. I got all of those little images cut, and I'm going to show you soon. But what I want to show you now is this is the advantage of saving the file on your machine, because I wanted to cut some more in just plain white paper to add some dimension. And this is how you do that, because since you already have it saved here on ScanNCut, you can go to retrieve data. You say, well, what I want is here on the machine. I know it's the last one, so I'm just gonna click on that. And this is very, very important now. What I didn't do was you should not reload or unload your paper, because if you do, you'll never be able to know if the paper is positionally correctly. So I didn't do that. So I got all my images from there without unloading the paper, because you want to make sure that it's going to cut. And it shows, there it is, and that's what you're gonna cut. You say okay. You can go again and edit if you want. Remember what we did and remove all those little things. I'm going to do that, but I don't want you to see that. So that's what you do. After you finish, you say okay. you select cut and you tell the machine do that, okay? So here they are. I have finished cutting and I want to show you how perfectly it did. See, even these very intricate ones here, it did a really good job. And even the ones that it didn't cut perfectly, like this one, see this one that's just 2 leaves and it was supposed to be attached to this. But even this one, for this technique, you're going to need small images to just fill the gaps on that frame. And I want to show you why. Now you're going to understand why I had some cut again and again and again for dimension. So here is the white. Remember when I put some more paper there, just so I got some more cut, and that's why you wanted to save that image in your machine. That's what you do. So you get a whole bunch of those and you glue it together like this so that it becomes a little bit thick and it gives dimension to the card, so it won't be just flat on the front of the card. And that's what gives a very nice effect. Let me get another one just so you see. See, this one's gonna be perfect, see? And that's why you need to use that second option that allows you to save on the machine so you can get it cut as many times as you need. So I'm going to show you now how to put this together and how to do the technique of the framing. So I wanted to give you one more tip on how to glue these parts. This one is already done, but you probably looked at it and you went, oh my goodness, that's gonna take forever. Not at all. So I'm going to give you a tip on how to get these things glued very fast. What I use is a pen that is actually a glue pen, because it's so easy with the glue pen to just go into these little tiny spaces here. And you just go round and round and round and get some glue around, and they dry quite fast. So just get a glue pen and then you put it aside and you glue them together, see? It's much faster than if you use one of those big big glue containers. So there you go, all done. See, it doesn't take very long, and you just wiggle around and it's done. Also, I just wanted to show you the other way that I do this dimension is by using these tapes. They're foam tapes, but I just, for this card in particular, I just wanted to glue some paper and not give it, because this one is very thick. It depends on what you want it to look like, but I didn't want it as high on the paper. So there's another tip for you. And here we are. This is the last phase of the card. And what I did here was I positioned all these shapes the way I wanted, and I'll give you another tip now. What I usually do is I position them and I play around until I'm happy with what I have, and then I take a picture, because you will forget where they are and they will move around. So I'm going to show you now the picture that I took, just so, and that's what when I started gluing everything, that's what I did. I looked at this picture and then I knew that it was positioned correctly. So you just make sure that you get all the areas covered, you don't leave a lot of big holes. And then what you do is you cut the excess with scissors, get everything you don't need out of here. There you go, we're almost done. Of course, I didn't want you to have to look at me coloring and everything, because this takes a long time. It's more about the technique of how to do this, how to get it cut, and now I have a lot of glue in my scissors, but that's fine. And here you have the panel complete, you can see, and that's why I cut more than once all these images, because you see that there is some dimension here, and it's absolutely, I love it, absolutely gorgeous. And this is a mat. It's for a regular card. I have the card base here, so this is a little bit smaller. And the last thing you do is glue it, and we're going to have this finished. So let's just get some glue here. And you can also, if you want, you can also always add some dimension if you want. Get some foam, but I didn't really think I needed that. I think it has enough dimension. There you go. It's beautifully positioned. And I love this. I think I've shown you this stamp set before. So what I did is I have the U, and then inside I'm just going to finish this card by stamping something inside that I think goes perfectly with this card. U. Ah, deserve to be celebrated. Didn't stamp well, but you know me, what you do is you just come with a marker and you fix whatever mistake you made. You know why? Because this table here is not really the best. I don't have my mat. I should have had my mat underneath. You deserve. There you go. Good enough. Deserve to be celebrated. So thank you so much for being with me again. I hope you learned again, and look how beautiful this is, and you can use any of the floral stamps that you have. I'm sure you have some. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.